So, we're making a video on multi-step trigonometry problems, alright? So I'm assuming if you watch this video, you already know how to do a regular trigonometry problem. By that, I mean that you can solve a problem like this, okay? That if I give you an angle in a triangle, and I tell you the length of one side, then you know how to find the length of either other side, whichever one you would want. If you need to find this one, then you know how to do that. Or if you need to find this one, then you know how to do that too. That's what I'm assuming you already know how to do to get this problem done, okay? So that's good. If you could do number 14 and 13 on the benchmark, that means you're ready for this, all right? So if you can't do that, go ahead and watch the other videos that'll get you ready for this one, all right? So in this case, what we're trying to do is read the problem first, okay? It says find the area of each triangle. So that's usually what I start with, is writing out that formula. The area of a triangle is half the base times the height, okay? So I know, what do I need to know? I need to know the base, and the base isn't just 38. The base is going to be 38 plus whatever this is over here, this blue line, right? We got to find the length of that. And the height is going to be this dotted blue line that doesn't have a length yet, right? So I need to find two lengths for me to be able to even do the problem that I need to do, okay? I need to find the area. So what you do first is basically start working in the triangle that has a number, okay? You see that this one has 38? By has a number, I mean has a number for one of the side lengths, okay? So we know that this side right here is 38. So if I look at this triangle, what I'm going to do is start labeling it just like I do in every problem in trigonometry. I'm going to label this as the opposite. And then I'm going to label this side across from the right angle. That must be the hypotenuse. And so this side over here has to be the adjacent, all right? And so if you're confused with that step, you might want to go back and study how you need to do a regular trigonometry problem, because it involves labeling like that, okay? So the next step that people usually get stuck on is I'll see people start solving for the hypotenuse over here, but what you actually want to do is find the opposite. Remember, we wanted to find the base and the height, and the height is this line right here. You got me? Okay? And so I think my class is paying attention right now. I know they're not trying to distract me or nothing, so thank you guys. I really want to thank you for that, okay? So the next thing I want to say is you have to get the height, okay? So if you want to get the height, notice that that's this side over here, the one that's in both triangles. Every time you do a multi-step trigonometry problem, the way they're set up, you're going to have to get that side that's in both triangles. You're going to have to get the height. That's going to be the first step you do. So look, I'm going to put an X right there, and we're going to try to find what that is. And you know, since it's the height, I could also put what there? I could put I might as well just put an H, right? So that's the opposite, and I'm going to label this with the H, okay? So H is the opposite, and 38 is the adjacent. So which ratio has the O and the A in it, right? Remember, the O from opposite and the A from adjacent, we're supposed to use SOHCAHTOA to help us remember something, right? So which one is it? I'm running out of room. Slide that over. All right. Which one has O and A in it? Well, I see this has O and H, and this has A and H, but not O and A, right? That has to be total. So I know what I'm going to look at is tangent of which angle are we looking at? In this case, it's 66, right? That's the opposite from 66. So I know the tangent of 66 is H, the opposite over adjacent, right? Opposite over adjacent. The adjacent is 38. So there we go. We got this so far. Well, now what you do is go in your calculator and just do a regular trigonometry problem, right? We're just going to find H. You guys have done that thousands of times already, it must feel like. So I'm going to go to my calculator, and I'm going to hit tangent of 66, and I get 2.246. So I get 2.246. Okay, and there's 2.2460, and I'm just going to leave these three numbers, okay, because that's good enough, all right? So that was a 0 right here. So notice that it also says round intermediate values to the nearest tenth, okay? By that, they don't mean this value right here. They mean the value that we get for H at the end, okay? So just go ahead and leave that value nice and long. So this one over here is H over 38. And now you guys should know I'm going to multiply both sides by what's on bottom. In this case, it's 38. So I'm multiplying this side by 38 and this side by 38, all right? And the whole point of multiplying by 38 was just to cancel that out, right? Now we know that H equals whatever I get when I multiply these two. So look, since I still have that number in my calculator, I'm just going to hit times 38. And I get 85.349. 85.349. Alright. So then it says round intermediate values to the nearest tenth. And this h is an intermediate value. So the nearest tenth here, go ahead class if you want to help me out. What's the nearest tenth? 85 point what? Is it 85.3? Yeah. Alright, if that was a 5, we would have gone up to 85.4, but that's a 4, right? So we know that this is going to go ahead and stay as a 3. So now we know the height is 85.3. So what I want to do is go to my picture and erase everything I did. It's the easiest way, trust me. Okay? I'm going to erase everything I did with my labels over here because I'm going to need to draw something else out of it, okay? So now I go label this side right here as 85.3. Okay, now we know the height. Now all I need to know is the base and we can keep doing this problem. So look at it. Now I want to find the length of this side. So what I'm going to do is we can put any variable there. We can put an x, for instance, okay? And I want to find the length of this side. Notice I couldn't do that before. I couldn't just come in here and get x. I had to get this side first so that it would be possible for me to do trigonometry. All right, to do a trigonometry problem in a triangle, you need to know the length of one of the sides. Alright? So here we go. The next thing we're going to do is work on the second half of the problem. Alright, we have to get that x. So this problem, it was a 3-point problem on the benchmark because there's kind of 3 steps to do it. Alright? The third step to get this problem done, the second step is going to be to find x, and the third step is going to be to find the area. That's the last step. So now what we do is label our triangle all over again. This might be the part that throws a lot of you guys off, alright? If I go across from 56, then this is the opposite. And now if I go over here, this is the hypotenuse across from the right angle. And so this side right here is the adjacent. Alright, so we labeled everything. And I want you to notice that a second ago, that 85.3 was the opposite. Notice 85.3 is opposite from the 66, but it's adjacent to the 56 degree angle, okay? That's why you have to relabel everything, otherwise everything's going to be wrong, okay? You have to relabel your triangle depending on the angle that you're really talking about. So now we know I have the opposite and the adjacent. So that means I am using TOA, right? Again, we have the O and the A. So I'm just going to set it up like tangent of 56 degrees equals opposite over adjacent, so that's x over 85.3. Okay, so now I'm going to look up tangent of 56, just like I do in every other trig problem. In my calculator or in your table, whatever you want to do, alright? I'm going to use my calculator. So I hit tangent of 56, and I get 1.4825. Alright, and so now what I'm going to do is multiply both sides by, like we usually say, multiply by what's on bottom. So I got 85.3. And this side is going to be multiplied times 85.3. If you walked in late, maybe somebody could whisper to you really carefully what we're supposed to be doing right now. Okay, so I'm multiplying both sides times 85.3. That canceled out. That was the whole reason why we did that, right? We multiplied by 85.3 for a reason. Now I'm multiplying that number, 1.4825 times 85.3, and I get 126.46. So now we have to round that, right? I probably should have used what I usually call my squiggly equals, my approximate equal sign, all right? What are we going to make it equal to? Oh, my bad. Actually, I switched those, all right? This last one is what we're rounding to, right? So we got 126 point what? Are we going to stay at 126.4 or go up to 5? Yeah, we're going to go up to 126.5. So now that x is this value, all right? That's the length of this side over here. So I'm going to go and put that number right here on the picture, all right? That's the easiest thing to do. 126.5, 126.5, all right? So now I got to figure out the base. Remember, we had to find the base and the height of the triangle to be able to finish this problem. So, what's the base of this triangle? Hopefully you see that I have to add up 38 and 126.5. Okay, don't multiply them. I see people do that sometimes, but think back to like day 1 of geometry, you know? If I give you a line and this is 3 and that's 7, then the whole line is 10, right? We did that on the first day of school. So you add up the pieces of the line.